Thanks for coming, very much appreciated. I thought today I'll just do a simple coastal scene. This is the large hake brush, and this is just clean water putting on. And then I'm just going to try and do a pretty random sky and just see what happens basically. So I'm just going to start off with raw sienna, and then add a little bit of alizarin crimson, and just see how that sort of develops on the page. No real plan to these, just bashing it in. That's something like that. Just dipping the tips in, just to bring all the edge back together, and just a little bit of water, just to loosen the colours, which are dry on the palette. I'll let them dry overnight. See, that way, using them dry off the palette. I used to use them fresh, but it was all the wasted paint that I kept throwing away that I used to get frustrated with. So I thought, well, why not just use them dry on the palette, which is what I did. This is alizarin crimson and ultramarine. A bit more water. I just want to see if I can just get the colours sort of dripping down the paper. I don't know if I've quite wetted enough to do that sort of. A bit of light red, doesn't need much, very strong colour, and it will soon, you have to mix it with something else, otherwise it's just too strong. Just too strong for the scene. It's a bit of Payne's grain there, with pretty much, with well, it's alizarin crimson, and it's just sort of. These are like clouds coming down. Put more up there. And there's something like that. Really. Little white clouds up there. Some up there. Just darken these corners a little bit more. You see, the more you darken the corners, the lighter the centre part looks. See how the paper's come away slightly from the board, so I'm just going to pull it tight and stretch it so that it's flat. Refix it on this with these clips I got. Yeah, I think so that's enough now, I think, for the background. So dipping into all the colours I've used for the sky, which I always use when I'm doing the most distant land. It's just like a little simple. What I'm going to do to make it. To make the tones a little bit strong, I've dried it while it was still wet. It wouldn't have come off the brush quite as strong. So you can see the difference. Watch that now, and then watch this. You see the difference between putting it on wet and putting it on dry. Because that's on fairly strong, I can take a piece of card, I can scrape out rock figures straight away really, although I'm just trying to keep them quite sort of at that distance. See some on the other side, so same colours. It's a bit higher then. A little bit higher. They're just changing it slightly as it comes round. Again, let's take that piece of card if I can find it, and then just scraping these rocks. They obviously get smaller and smaller as they go off into the distance. dipping the tips in just to loosen the paint again. And then we go. Just come round there. You see how it looks quite dramatic with putting your darkest tones against the light area of what is like the sort of sea coming in. Making sure these are parallel to the bottom of the paper, keeping them straight rather than putting them in slanted. With that in, I'll put a few little pebbles and stones and things. I'm trying not to overdo it, but it's so tempting once you get started scraping them out. What it needs is 2 or 3 yachts just sort of sailing off into the distance. So I'm going into the same colour. Well, I'm giving Payne's grey, alizarin crimson there, a bit of blue. And just twisting the rigger there just to bring it to a point. Right then, where do we want the yachts? I want them about this sort of, somewhere around there. One sort of like there, and one. One about there. Let's put like one a bit further away. That's a little bit smaller. There, and then one right over there, go on the distance, that's just a small one, an even smaller one. It turned out to be a bigger one. At least if you start small and it doesn't quite work out the shape you want, you can make them a bit bigger. Sort of go over your mistakes. Let's have just some little seagulls in the sky. And then, last but not least, I'm just going to put my name in the corner. I'm going to call that one finished. So, let's see what it looks like with the mount on. So here's our painting with the mount on. So starting with the sky, pretty much went all the way around the palette trying to get different colours and mixes and whatnot just to create variation. But always bear in mind this sort of lighter area reflecting in the water. Some clouds put in using the hake brush, others taken out using a piece of tissue for these sort of lighter clouds. Some more on the other side as well. Seagulls deliberately put in the lighter area of the sky so they stood out. You can see the difference between putting it in when it's wet, which is what I did with the distant land, and then drying it, putting it in when it's dry. You can see how much stronger the tone is when the paint's put onto dry paper. And then because it was quite a thick mix, I could go straight in and do some rocks without having to wait for the paint to dry. A few more rocks on this right hand side. It's tempting to overdo it when it's going well. You just have to try and restrict yourself as best you can, really. Just continuing this sort of land mass into the fort, and again, a few sort of pebbles and little stones on the beach here. And then heading off towards the horizon, we've got our little yachts. Just put in very simply. and obviously as they get further and further away they get smaller and smaller. That's just a simple coastal scene. You can all have a go at painting. I hope you like that. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. You can also help me by liking and commenting and sharing the videos. Thanks for watching, keep practicing, and I'll see you again soon.